Breaking news! Things are pretty heated behind the scenes at the Philadelphia Eagles, and I have to admit that I'm looking forward to the start of the season. We know it's going to be tough, as it always has been, but I'm sure our team will give it its all to make it to the Super Bowl once again. If you're a true Eagles fan and believe we're going to win another Super Bowl, hit that like button hard. If possible, write something like this: Go Eagles! Let's fly high! Howie is once again setting the tone for how an elite NFL franchise should approach roster construction, especially when you have a franchise quarterback like Jalen Hurts. And the buzz now? It's all about what Howie Roseman can do in the 2025 NFL Draft. This isn't about plugging holes. This is about doubling down on a philosophy that has led the Eagles to the top of the NFC in recent years: maximizing your quarterback's potential at all costs. We're not just talking about bringing in one or two more weapons. We're talking about a full arsenal, specifically designed to give Jalen Hurts every advantage possible. The same approach that brought DeVonta Smith, A.J. Brown, and Saquon Barkley to Philadelphia will likely continue this year. And Howie isn't just checking boxes, he's creating a situation where Hurts doesn't have to carry this team on every snap. Instead, the offense is built to make things easier for him, reduce the risk of injury, and keep the Eagles consistently explosive. Let's be clear, Jalen Hurts has proven he can carry this team when needed. We saw it in the NFC Championship run, in the Super Bowl, and during the early part of the 2023 season when he was in the MVP conversation. But just because he can do it doesn't mean he should have to. The goal is to build a team so stacked that Hurts can be efficient, explosive, and preserved for when he's really needed most. So what are the moves that could shape this year's draft? Let's look at the 5 prospects the Eagles are likely targeting with Hurts in mind. At the top of the list, 2 tight ends who could either complement or potentially replace Dallas Goedert: Colston Loveland out of Michigan and Mason Taylor from LSU. Loveland especially brings size, separation, hands, and route-running savvy that would allow the Eagles to run more 12-personnel sets effectively. And if Goedert is no longer in midnight green by 2025, having one of these guys ready to go would be a seamless transition. Taylor also fits this mold perfectly. He's a technician who thrives over the middle and in clutch moments, which has always been Hurts's safety blanket territory. Then there's Harold Fannin from Bowling Green, an absolute monster in the YAC game. He's not your traditional tight end, but the Eagles don't need traditional. They need dangerous. Fannin racked up more than 800 yards after the catch last season. No other tight end even touched 700. He's an undersized playmaker who would turn short completions into long gains. Perfect for screen games and quick throws, exactly the kind of rhythm that benefits Hurts. But it's not just about pass catchers. Protection is paramount. Donovan Jackson from Ohio State is a top-tier guard who could step in immediately and battle for the right guard spot left open by Mai Becton's departure. If the Eagles can pair Jackson with Tyler Steen and Kenyon Green, you're looking at one of the most competitive guard situations in the league. And long-term, Jackson could potentially take over for Lane Johnson down the road. That's foresight. Classic Roseman. Now the wild card here is wide receiver Emeka Egbuka from Ohio State. Let's not forget, Jahan Dotson is on a 1-year deal. A.J. Brown will be entering his 30s by the time a rookie's contract hits its extension window. Egbuka brings the possession skills, route running, and physicality needed to thrive in the Eagles' system. He's not a burner, but with Smith and Brown stretching the field, Egbuka could feast underneath and over the middle. All these names and the thought process behind them reflect Howie Roseman's commitment to the long game. It's not about just this season. It's about giving Hurts every tool he needs now and later. That's why we could see the Eagles go offense heavy in the early rounds. It might not be flashy from a needs standpoint, but it's elite from a team-building philosophy. If a pick helps Hurts, it's the right pick.
And if you're wondering about trade possibilities, buckle up, because the odds are strong, like 95% strong, that the Eagles don't stay at 32. Whether it's moving up to grab a falling star or sliding down to pick up future assets, Howie is always playing chess. Potential partners? Minnesota at 24 makes a ton of sense. They only have 4 picks, and they're looking to build around a young QB. The Rams at 26 could be a trade-back candidate too, especially given their recent draft success on day 2 and day 3. If the Eagles want to get aggressive, don't rule out a jump to 18 or 19. Seattle and Tampa Bay are teams to watch. On the flip side, if a team is eyeing a QB at the bottom of the first round, think Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, Philadelphia's pick becomes prime real estate. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and the Giants all fit that mold, and that fifth-year option is a game-changer for teams looking to secure a developmental QB. And it's not just about the offense. Vic Fangio has made it crystal clear he wants Cooper DeJean in the slot in 2025. That's where DeJean is elite, and the move makes perfect sense when you've got Khalil Ringo on one side and Quinyon Mitchell on the other. Don't mess with what works. DeJean was already a star as a rookie and can become even more dangerous in a versatile, matchup-based role, potentially taking on tight ends, running backs, and inside receivers all over the formation. So, Eagles fans, this isn't a rebuild. It's a reload, and it's all about maximizing Hurts. Howie Roseman isn't playing it safe. He's going all in. Again, what do you think? Birds Nation, do you want to see more firepower added for Jalen Hurts in this draft? Or should the Eagles look elsewhere with that 32nd pick? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's talk about it. And if we're being honest, the path that Howie Roseman is carving out here doesn't just show commitment to Jalen Hurts. It shows an understanding of what it takes to stay on top in a constantly evolving NFL. Teams that win consistently don't wait until there's a need. They anticipate. They build before the need becomes a problem. And that's exactly why we're seeing tight ends, guards, wide receivers, all positions that technically aren't holes, being discussed as legitimate early picks. Let's talk more about Colston Loveland and Mason Taylor. If you've watched Hurts over the past couple of seasons, you know how much he leans on Dallas Goedert in clutch moments. Whether it's third and long, red zone plays, or just bailing out of a collapsing pocket, Goedert has been that guy. But with his future uncertain, the need to bring in a tight end who can thrive in those same moments is real. Loveland has the frame and route polish to immediately become a problem for linebackers and safeties. Taylor, on the other hand, brings that SEC toughness and a football IQ that jumps off the tape. Add either one of them to an offense already featuring Smith, Brown, and Barkley, and you've got an offensive package that can beat you in every possible way. And then there's the value of 12 personnel. Two tight end sets are becoming a cheat code in today's league, especially when both can run routes like wide outs but still block effectively. Imagine trying to defend an offense with A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Saquon Barkley, and Loveland or Taylor lined up next to Goedert. Good luck. Defensive coordinators will be sweating by Tuesday. Let's pivot back to the offensive line for a second, because Donovan Jackson deserves more attention. The Eagles have set the gold standard in the trenches over the last decade. We're talking about Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata, elite names, year after year. But with Kelce retiring and Lane nearing the back nine of his career, it's time to groom the next generation. Jackson isn't just a plug-and-play right guard. He could very well be the heir to Lane Johnson at right tackle. That's forward thinking, and that's how dynasties are built. Now if the draft board doesn't fall the Eagles' way and they decide to trade out of 32, there's a smart play there too. Pittsburgh, Cleveland, or the Giants could be eyeing a quarterback and might be willing to overpay slightly to get that fifth-year option.